In this video, we'll learn about working with epics in Jira. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of an epic, essentially an epic is a really huge project. So this works really well, or it works primarily when you're doing a Scrum Agile workflow, where essentially you're working with sprints. So let's say that your team sprints for 2 weeks. Now, that means every 2 weeks you're going to get together and then decide what you are going to do for the next 2 weeks, 2 weeks after that, for the following 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. Now, every so often you're going to have projects come along that are more than you can accomplish in 2 weeks. So let's say you have to build a website. Now, of course, how long that takes is going to depend on the specifics of that website, but generally speaking, let's say it's going to take longer than 2 weeks to build the entire website. So what you'll do is create an epic for build a website and then create stories for each of the projects that go into actually creating or building the entire website. So here in Jira, here's how we would do this, and it'll start to make a little bit more sense once we see this. So let's come in and go to create, and under issue type, we'll want to pick our epic. And then let's give this a name. So this is build a website. And then we can give it a description if we want to. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the epic is the epic has an actual, a special field that is required. So I'm just going to copy this and then scroll down, and on mine, it's down here at the bottom. That's the epic name. You can see it is required as well. Now, the reason why this is required is because of just the interface that Jira has. There's a special feature for epics, and we'll look at that here in a second. So I'm going to assign this to me. It's fine. Create. All right, so we have an epic that's been created. So let's hop over to our Scrum board, and we can see where we can find this. So if we come over here, let's go into our backlog. You'll notice that there's versions and epics. Now we'll look at versions later on, but for epics, if we open this up, we can see the epic that's been created. So this is showing us the epic name, and that's why we needed that special field. Now, personally, I just usually take the summary and copy that into the epic name, because usually I don't really need them to be different. But if you do, you have the ability to change that up. All right, so what goes into building a website? So let's come in. I'm going to close out of this real quick, and let's create some new tickets to go into building a website. So I'm going to come in, and this will be a story. Let's say we need to research and find a host, so a company to host our website. Let's create another one. And we also need to find and register a domain name. I mean, these days, finding a good domain name is can be a task in and of itself. Let's say we need to research what features we need for the site. There we go. There's another story. We need to actually do the website design, so we need to finalize the website design. And I'm oversimplifying for some of these. I mean, doing the website design could be an epic in and of itself, depending on what website we're building, right? So build site functionality. Again, this could be one that, depending on what features you have, this could take months or years, depending on the actual site that you're building. And then, let's say we publish the site. All right, so just kind of keeping it simple for the sake of this example here. But I have a bunch of different things that I've created. You can see all of them right here. So what I can do is I can just take these, drag them into the epic here, and you can see all of these are associated with the build a website epic. So it looks like we have these down here that created as well. So what's really cool about this is not only can we see this here in our backlog now, so if we wanted to, say we're doing our sprint and we're pulling things in, we can say, well, what do we still need to do to build our website? Oh, here's the tasks that we need to do. We can even filter that down if we wanted to. If we click on this, Jira will automatically filter this, so all we can see are the projects or the stories, or however we have our issue types laid out, that are based for this epic. Now, something else that's really cool about this is you notice this little bar right here. This is actually the progress of the epic. So if I open this up, you can see we have 6 issues. None of them are completed. And then it uses the estimate, so whatever the time estimate is that you're using. But you can see the progress of this epic as we complete the tickets associated with it. So just to kind of show this, let's say I'm going to come up and open this up. I'm going to open this in a new tab just so we can see this here. And I'm going to come in and let's take this and let's say that this particular task is done. This story is done. So I have researched and found a host. All right. So if I refresh my Scrum board now, you'll see that 1 is completed. So I have 6 issues, 1 is completed, and you can start to see the progress that's being made on the overall epic. So now we only have 5 left because we had 6 overall, 1 completed, so only 5 are left. And this is really all that we need to do in order to complete that epic. Now, if you open up the epic, so if you click on the issue key, so once again, I'll open this in a new tab just so we can see this here. You can see the progress that's done. So this is the detail view for this particular epic. You can see these are all the stories that are in the epic. One of them is complete. These are the ones that this is their current status. It's just a really, really nice way of being able to manage really, really huge projects, even across teams. So you can see who these particular issues are assigned to right here. So you can see if one person is working on this story, another person's working on this story, you can see who's doing what's the current status is, and really how much you have left to do in order to complete some of your really large projects. And really, Jira makes it very, very easy and very simple to work with epics because it treats them almost the same as any other issue type here inside of Jira. The interface, you'll notice there's really nothing special to this interface. The only thing that's really unique about it is that it has to have an epic name. And then it uses that epic name over here on this special little add-on here in your Scrum backlog. All right, so that's working with epics here inside of Jira. Now, you'll notice that there's also this little versions panel here in our backlog. So let's move on to our next video where we can start to look at versions.